Welcome to another show for healthinforadio.com, where good health is just a mouse click away.
Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything.
Gentle loving hugs, and thanks for turning in to the Fibro Friends radio show here on healthinforadio.com, part of the Entertainment Global Media Network, broadcasting out of heavenly Clearwater, Florida. If you feel like doing nothing at all today, then just sit back or lie down. We're here to educate you with a full spectrum of information on fibro, advocate on the behalf of all fibro friends for fibro awareness and the need for more research, and support each other with laughter and love. New to fibro? Wonder what it is? Fibromyalgia is a complex chronic disorder involving a malfunction in how the brain processes pain, which leads to other multiple dysfunctions in the body. Some of the main symptoms of fibro are pain and fatigue, sleep disorder, memory and concentration, depression, digestive disorders, hypersensitivity. So today, you've tuned into Fibro Friends. So please welcome your host, Laura Rosa.
Hi, I'm Laura Rosa, and my co-host tonight is...
I'm Laura. Hi, everyone.
We're glad to have you here with us. We're going to talk to you tonight about a part of fibromyalgia that we both have struggled with. We both have fibromyalgia for some time now, and our topic of the night is going to be about acceptance. Laura.
Yes, Laura.
Do you recall when you first found out you had fibromyalgia?
I do. I was ill for quite a long time and was not diagnosed with anything. And it's been about 14 years now since I did get the diagnosis.
So you're a real go back in the boonies before anybody
yes, I
had
have
a clue.
Been dealing with it for quite a long time. And I have to say that part of acceptance, it's a ongoing learning process. You have to just keep learning, accept your limitations, what triggers or aggravates your condition.
Correct.
And for me, I can only do one thing a day. So doing this, that's it
this
for
is
the
your
day.
Right.
I have to prepare for it and rest.
So we need a lot more time to accomplish what we would call a healthy person may be able to do in one day, may take us a week to accomplish.
Exactly.
But yet there are different levels. There are functioning fibros that do work, and then there are some that have more severe fibromyalgia, and they are much more limited by what they're able to do. So if you want to call in and have any questions, you want to add anything to what we're talking about, you can call us at 727-493-2055. We'd love to hear your input tonight. So we're talking about acceptance of once we're diagnosed with fibromyalgia, right?
Right.
And getting over the initial shock after we finally get a diagnosis that many of us took a long time to get.
Right.
And sometimes it takes a long time to really absorb the magnitude of what is going on with us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree?
I know in the beginning I fought it. I didn't want to accept it, and I tried to just go on with my life the way it was, working. I was doing aerobics classes. I was even tap dancing, if you can believe that.
Oh, how'd that work out for you?
I had to hang up my tap shoes.
Because the pain was too much?
Abruptly, it just came to an end, and I had to stop working. And the exercise, the only exercise I do now are just short walks and gentle type exercising in water, in the pool.
Now, you probably can relate to this. I know when I was diagnosed, and my doctor gave me the basic information of what I needed to know, what was that dealing with.
Right.
But I really had difficulty getting my circle of influence, my friends, family, to understand the intensity of this chronic illness.
Yeah.
We look healthy. It's one of these chronic illnesses known as an invisible illness, when we might have a pain threshold that's raising between an 8 and a 9, in the middle of a grocery store, and they don't understand that we have to stop and just go home.
Right.
I've been thought of being lazy.
Oh, yeah. And that's also
attention getting.
When you walk into a doctor's office, your blood work may come back normal. You look fine.
Right.
You can, your neurological exam will come out okay. And you're screaming inside, I'm not okay.
Correct. So what do you recommend for people who are, after they're trying to obtain their own acceptance, how would you recommend they go about educating their friends and family where they can actually be heard? If there is any one true answer to that, I don't know.
I don't know. You can try to explain it as best you can, but people probably won't get the full understanding of it unless you live in a fibro body. You're not, it's hard to understand.
Like an example would be trying to explain to somebody. You had a good example earlier.
Oh, yeah. One example is trying to explain what childbirth is like. To a man or to another woman that hasn't had a child. And, just one funny thing was Carol Burnett, she once described childbirth as trying to take your pants off over your head.
I love Carol Burnett. For those younger generation, you probably don't know who that is, but she was an amazing, famous comedian. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that really doesn't, relate to fibro, but kind of does, because you can't
imagine what that's
imagine.
Like.
Right. And so you have to be forgiving of people, that don't get it, because
I agree.
They don't get it.
Anger's not going to help the situation.
Not at all.
And there might be some people that never get it. They just can't accept the fact that this person they love has this severe of a chronic illness.
Right. And then they ask you, they call and say, how are you feeling today? And you have to explain, like I did yesterday and the day before, it's not the type of illness that's just short term and it goes away and then you're fine.
Right.
I know some people do heal from it, but some of us are just chronic for, like I said, 14 years now, so even longer.
And yet you're still finding your body changing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just black and white for you.
Not at all. It's an ongoing process that keeps changing.
And that can be very frustrating, especially waking up each day not knowing whether you're going to be able to keep the commitment you made that day, if you have the energy or the strength or the pain threshold to do it.
Right. Having friends that have fibromyalgia, if you do make plans and you have to cancel, it makes it so much easier.
Correct. Yeah, that's about the only people that I associate with that understand.
Exactly.
Canceling last minute or running late is just part of the nature of the beast, so to speak.
Right.
There is also, I think, a problem with having the outside world having the acceptance of understanding people that suffering with fibromyalgia is the lack of education and the lack of funding that is out there. I read one article where fibromyalgia is the least funded chronic illness. I think we fall $12 million behind Tourette syndrome. Every time I see one of my specialists, physicians, I always tiptoe around the question, what are your thoughts on fibro? And usually I get the response, well, that's not my specialty.
Right.
But I found in truth, it affects every part of our body that every kind of specialist is going to need to learn,
That's true.
get up to speed.
That's true. That's
'Cause
true.
In the hospital, we're treated differently.
Each of our
Yes.
doctors should be educated on fibro.
I agree. That's why we're here.
Right. And the other thing is a lot of us have to resort to filing disability.
Yes.
And it takes so much energy to prove that you're sick. It's hard to focus on getting better.
Gotcha. We have a caller on the line. Hi, Cameron. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We're good. Thanks for calling in. What can we help you with?
Well, actually, my mom was recently diagnosed with fibromyalgia, so I was trying to get some
sorry to hear
information
that.
on maybe what she could do to help herself, relieve her symptoms, maybe where she could go to get some more information.
Okay. Laura, do you want to answer that?
Well, there's several resources.
It depends, do you live in the Tampa Bay area?
Actually, yes, I do.
Okay, and so we have a local caller. Go ahead, Laura, I'll let you finish. I just wanted to see if giving out references that would be helpful here or if we are on the World Wide Web. So
We are on, it is on the web. And, one publication I really get a lot of information from is called Fibromyalgia Network. And they put out a quarterly magazine that's very informative. So that's one thing. And then also, we are on a website called fibrofriendsradioshow.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you can also find us on facebook.com/Fibro Friends Radio Show. So, on that, you could ask questions or leave comments, and we'll communicate and help in any way we can.
And Cameron, also, I think one way you could really support your mother is to educate yourself, because she's probably going through something that's new to her, and she's probably having a difficult time trying to have you understand it. I'm sure you've seen some changes in her since she's diagnosed. Would
Yeah.
that be true? Yeah. Okay. And how are you feeling about your relationship? Is it putting a stressor, or are you giving her support, or are you not sure what to do?
It's probably a bit of a combination of all three, honestly.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for calling in to ask. That's a great question. Family members are
Thank you for
such
the information.
and but that's really great, because family members really need to get the understanding and knowledge so they can be a support system for the member of the family. So, anything else we can help you with?
I don't think so. I'll be sure to pass the information along to her, though.
I appreciate that. You have a great night. Thanks.
Thank
You
you.
too.
That's great. Again, anybody wants to call in, the number is 727-493-2055. Anything else you want to add about this? Because we got a lot of different topics to go over.
I know you have some research
I
that's
do.
been done.
I would like to mention that tonight is our very first show, and our goal is to be here for a long time, because I have a burning need to be an advocate for fibromyalgia. I was shocked when I was diagnosed to see the lack of education in the medical community. After a while with doing my research, I felt very alone, and that created a need for me to be with other people suffering. So I sought out a support group, and I was able to attend 3 meetings, and then it closed down. Support groups and fibromyalgia, I can understand it's very difficult to to run one. But in spite of knowing that, I ended up starting my own support group here in the Tampa Bay area. And we're going on 4 years now. But what I've gotten out of that, it gave me a purpose back in my life. I had to go out on disability. I was able to work the first couple years, and then my sleep disorder, which is one of the symptoms of fibromyalgia, was really took over, where I wasn't able to even drive into work safely, let alone do the work that was expected of me. So I started the support group because I wanted to meet other people, and that has been the biggest help for me, to be around other people that understand. Yet this disorder is different for Laura than it is for me. We all have like 6 basic symptoms, but then there's just this huge category of other symptoms that can fall underneath fibromyalgia. You may get A and C and F, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Right.
And it's a progression, not necessarily downward, but it's ever changing. So
Right.
that's hard to deal with.
You'll have some days that are not so bad. Those are my
Right.
good days, just not so bad.
That's
But,
right. There are no good
I've
days
had
right
to,
now.
Yeah, I've had to accept that's the way it is for me personally.
Right.
I'm not saying everybody that gets fibromyalgia is going to feel the way I feel.
Of course.
My chronic fatigue is pretty crippling, and so it's hard to function and get through the day. But other people maybe just, have more pain and
It's
still
very
have some
individualized.
energy,
Right.
and it
Can do
is.
more and keep working.
Right.
And keeping a functional life at just more of a minimal level than they're used to. My favorite thing was racquetball. I haven't touched a racket in 8 years.
That's like my tap dancing.
Exactly. Yeah, we could get together and you could tap dance to my racquetball and probably be quite funny. Seriously though. So, and I'd like to share also that this being our first night, this is a great radio station that's allowed us to come here and do this. We're really structured oriented people because we feel like we're more in control of how our day's going to go. And this is a holiday, and I thought it would be a great day to start a show because there wouldn't be a lot of people around, and it take a little pressure off. And the show got delayed a few hours, which there's a point with me and fibromyalgia, and Laura has shared with me, she has the same, where you just get past a time of day where you go into just a lack of functioning, and the cognitive skills drop.
I
drastically.
do feel like I shut down and I can't think anymore and I can't talk to anybody anymore.
Correct.
And if I'm on the phone, that's it. I have to go now.
I'm
It's
done.
over.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so this being the show is delayed a few hours, we're kind of hit that wall about the
little
time the show
difficult,
started. So please bear with us as we work through our agenda that we'd like to share with you. Because we are, well, actually, let me transition that into the research. You think?
Sure.
Okay. Every week, we're going to air at 7 to 8 Standard Eastern Time, or is it Eastern Standard Time? I don't remember. And each week, I want to make sure I bring in some new research that's going on. I keep up to date with that, and this happens to be in a very recent study done on fibrofog. And for those of you who are new or not familiar with that term, it just means that we're like in a fog. We might not be able to multitask, or may need you to repeat it because it didn't really absorb right. Or for me, the most frustrating is I know a word and I can't pull it out of my brain, and it might be something as simple as my elbow, and it just isn't coming out. It's this thing in the middle of my arm. So this study really caught my eye that I'd like to share with you. Fibro fog is your brain just behaving like it is in a fog when it happens. A recent study by a Rush University team in Chicago, Frank Leavitt, MD, and Robert Katz, MD, shows the average vocabulary of a typical FM patient, fibromyalgia for FM, may be quite good or better than most. However, for about half of us, our words stored in our memory banks might be seriously impaired. Levitt and Katz looked at different aspects of a person's verbal skills that might contribute to the symptom. So, hang in there with me, guys. I really appreciate it. They compared 104 fibromyalgia patients under evaluation for cognitive complaints to a control group of 48 healthy subjects. All participants were well matched for education level, averaging about 3 years of college. Given their fairly young age, mid-40s, and higher level of education, word-finding problems shouldn't be occurring in either group. Yet, this symptom was detected in 44% of the fibromyalgia group and only 10% of the control group, showing that patients that fibromyalgia patients were 4 times more likely to experience word-finding difficulties, like the elbow. Okay. The source of this difficulty remains unclear, they admit, but they suspect it's due to a neurological basis in the brain's left anterior cingulate cortex. Now, I don't have my medical dictionary out, but I'm accepting that at face value. But they go on to say this area is involved in both verbal fluency and pain processing. And that's when I raised my eyebrow saying it's, okay, this story's coming together. Yeah. Okay, yes. The overall lapping function of the area could interfere with the ability to speak your mind, as they stated. So that is my research update for this week, that fibrofog is real. They can't tell you exactly where, but they have an idea where to look now.
It's not just an excuse.
It's not just an excuse.
We're not just, yeah.
It's not like you're just overtired or I can't really compare it to alcohol because I don't drink. But
no, or you took too many drugs or
yeah,
whatever.
it's just this. It's just your brain is shut down, and you can just do the basic routine things. Don't multitask. And so
another thing I have to do is make sure that I try to avoid stress, even though it's not possible at all times. But you have to learn to be able to deal with that.
And why do you need to avoid stress? I know that. I mean, I just want to check and see if you're still with us.
Yeah, I know. It's an aggravating factor. It will bring on a flare. And so I try to just remind myself to take a deep breath and keep breathing and try to tell myself it will pass.
Yep.
And I just, do whatever helps.
In the moment.
Right.
Okay. What were we talking about? It's
different
very hard
things we can do.
To follow a list here.
The other thing
so much
is,
information to share.
Sleep. We could go on for a whole hour about sleep.
Or disability.
Right. There's so many things, but, with sleep, I found that I have to have a set schedule.
That is the way that they are recommending
and
people with fibro should be.
I shouldn't be out late tonight, but
you are.
Okay.
And we're going to get home, and we're going to get in our beds, and we'll be a little off tomorrow.
That's right. And, there's a lot of herbal things, supplements that you can take. I know I have sort of a ritual at night where, I know the time I need to just rest and relax and stay calm.
So you listen to your body.
Right.
I had a lot of problems with that for
Right.
the first couple of years.
Right. I know I need that to be able to fall asleep.
And that's your pattern.
Exactly.
Gotcha. You
And
just
so-
can't run in the house, throw in your pajamas, brush your teeth, and go to bed.
No, absolutely
You got to
not.
just break the steam down.
Right. And, people have had to learn, such as, family or friends that, they have get-togethers or whatever at their party. And I'm like Cinderella. I have to go home. I can't, you can't stay out late. You're an adult. You should be able to stay up.
But I want to be able to drive my car.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see. We were going to do a tip of the day.
Yes.
I can do that. If you have recently diagnosed or you're a long time fibro sufferer, for lack of a better word, I found a really wonderful system that's been working for me that I'd love to share. I have a folder. Anytime I get any diagnostic tests done, I get a copy, keep them in my folder. Also, I have a 3-ring, or I have a notebook.
Binder?
Notebook. Binder. It's a note. It's a
Okay.
skinny thing. A notebook. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And I write down the date, the doctor I'm seeing, and what the outcome was. And the next appointment goes right under it. So it's just a running journal. But mostly because I have seen probably 30 specialists over the few years. And every medical form asks the same questions that you have to fill out. So I have started where I have typed up 3 lists. One list is my medications and which physician prescribed it, because there's a lot of herbals and compounds and other. I have a very long list. So as it changes, I just cross it out, and each month I print up a new one, make copies, pass them out to my doctors that I see every day or frequently, to keep them up to the changes that are going on.
Right.
And the second one, I have a list of all my surgeries. My fibromyalgia was kicked off after a pretty severe car crash where I was T-boned, and I ended up with having 6 surgeries, and inevitably that turned into fibromyalgia. So I have a list of all my surgeries, the date, and the surgeon. And then my third sheet lists all of my symptoms. There's a lot of things that go along with fibromyalgia, as the recording stated at the beginning of the show. There's depression, there's sleep disturbance, there's fatigue, there's pain. So, and there's also
Digestive
disorders, right? Yeah. Some people have irritable bowel syndrome. There's a multitude of digestive issues that are happening to people with fibromyalgia.
Right.
So anyway, I keep a list so they can just glance at it and see all the different symptoms that I'm dealing with. So it helps them to have more knowledge in how to treat me
Right.
with better information.
And if you're, just recently were diagnosed, you're going to see a lot of doctors. That's just the way it is.
And, I recommend you do. I really do.
It's hard to keep track. And, yeah.
And you forget, you think you're going to remember with the conversation.
Well, you have to remember to bring the book, and you have to remember to actually write down things.
And I keep it in a special little bag.
Yeah,
and when I go to an appointment, I grab the bag.
Another thing I do is if I do have a new appointment and I know there's going to be all that paperwork for your first visit, I just have them either mail it to me, or if it's close enough, I'll go pick it up. And it could take me days to fill it out.
Yes, and I do like getting that in the mail.
Sitting in the waiting room.
Filling out your paperwork.
It's just by the time you get into the doctor's office, you're done. You're wiped out.
You forgot every question you wanted to ask.
You can't even communicate how you feel. You're just,
You get hit the wall.
Right.
That's my terminology. Hitting the wall. would like to share something that we're going to start doing on the next show. Tonight, we're just getting settled in and getting our feel of the lay of the grounds around here. But I am taking on a very brave endeavor. Like I said, I started a support group about 4 years ago, and I share a lot of information with my members. But honestly, I have not been practicing what I preach. I do not eat the right foods that people with fibromyalgia should eat. I do not exercise the way people with fibromyalgia should exercise. And I don't use the perfect sleep hygiene for my sleep disorder. These are things that you learn about if you're new. So,
I'm sorry.
you know, my body has taken a significant toll by me not embracing feeling better. The depression, I think, was really overpowering and life situations. But recently, one of my doctors did a full spectrum blood work, and it was in black and white in front of me of how much I'm damaging my body. It was a wake up call. If I keep doing what I'm doing, my life expectancy is really going to drop off quickly. So,
Well, you have had one success lately.
I have. Weirdly, most people don't start smoking in their early 40s, but I did, and I gave that up. It's 2 weeks today.
That's great.
And that was such an empowering feeling because I really didn't want to let go of any vice that I had due to so much pain that I feel like I live in. I wanted my comfort things. Although I have to say that was really never a comfort. It just was
I was just going to
a
say
need.
that it's not really a comfort.
So-
You think it is, but once you stop and you learn the things that are going to comfort you,
Yes.
it's a whole different.
And I am so committed to staying off smoking. There's been no relapse. I don't anticipate one because I feel if I fail at this, which to me is the hardest one I needed to cross off my list, that why bother with the rest? So I took the tough one on and I succeeded. So I'm really pumped up. That gets me really psyched. So now I'm going to embrace the healthy eating, sleeping, etc. And so there'll be about a 10-minute segment on each show where I will be having my weight measured, BMI, and inches. And
Track your progress.
I'm going to
is
track my
right.
progress with you. And the reason I'd like to share this with you is because I know I'm not alone in getting stuck to my bed and only going out when I absolutely have to.
It will give you an incentive.
It gives
Doing
me
this
an
on the show.
incentive to work harder because I know I'm being watched and
Right.
judged. And my goal is to inspire others who may be stuck where I've been to say it's possible to get your body back to a much healthier state. So it's really been my choice of neglect to get the way I have.
You're
And
not
to-
alone with that. I mean, everybody, I'm not perfect either. I'm still
know.
trying. I'm still working on it.
But, especially if running a group and, they're looking at me with all this wisdom and going, look what she's eating. And, what's she out there smoking?
Well, you stopped bringing in brownies. That's a
Yes,
step in
right.
the
We used to always bring
direction.
food in, but now the rule is if you're going to bring in food, it has to be healthy. So I'm excited to do this because I want my life and my health back, and I gained a significant amount of weight in 4 years, and I want to go back to my size 4 pants.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I have a petite frame, and
Right.
that was my
I think
size.
the majority of people that do get this illness gain weight.
And
in
it's
the
usually
beginning,
because of the
and-
medications.
And well, your
A lot of
activity
them.
level drops so much. Yeah,
Yep.
the medications and the no sleep.
Yes. Yeah. That's
During sleep, especially the deep stages, is when your body
replenishes.
right, and signals hormones to work that have to do with appetite and
Yep.
metabolism, and you're not getting that.
Nope.
So
In spite of that, though, I'm going to succeed. I don't see any other outcome but succeeding. So I got a great attitude, and I'm going to be held accountable by you. So we'll have the board in next Monday, and we'll start it at ground zero, as I'm going to call it. And we're going to call that segment, It's My Life. Okay? And we got a cute little song to go with it called It's My Life. So we'll see how that works out.
right.
So is there anything else we need to add tonight? I mean, how we doing?
Well, I had a little tip.
What do you got? Share it with us.
As far as your to-do list,
Yes.
eat chocolate. The first
Put
thing,
eat chocolate on your to-do list.
right, and then that way you'll get at least one thing done that day. And I don't know if that
Good.
would be part of your.
They say dark chocolate can be good for you.
I do a
but
little
that's
bit
cute.
of dark chocolate I just love it so much, and I love it. And so
Yeah,
I
that's
like
really
that
cute.
one. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And we do have a pre-recorded closing that we're going to share with you. And I hope you got something out of our show today. Please tune back in, and I think we'll be a little more on our game next week. And thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Good night.
Remember, fibromyalgia can strike any person at any age. If you feel that you may be suffering from fibromyalgia, please contact your medical provider as soon as possible for proper diagnosis and a treatment plan that works for you. We are not a replacement for professional medical advice, but we are your Fibro Friends for advocacy and education and support. We encourage you to share via email, Facebook, or Twitter through a link from any of our shows that can be found on our website at fibrofriendsradioshow.com and on Facebook at Fibro Friends Radio Show. With your doctors, support system of friends and family, and your fellow Fibro friends. Remember, laughter is still the best medicine, so share the Fibro funny today and keep a smile on your face and in your heart. So pass this Fibro Friends smiling, gentle hug full of love to someone in pain today, because it's always the love that heals.